There are 19 muscles of the hand arranged in various groups. We will start with the thenar muscles group, which are responsible for fine movements of the thumb. Having origin from the tubercle of scaphoid, crest of trapezium, and flexor retinaculum, we have the abductor pollicis brevis. This muscle inserts into the lateral side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. Next muscle to be indicated is the flexor pollicis brevis. This muscle has two heads, a superficial and a deep head. The superficial head arises from the flexor retinaculum, while the deep head arises from the trapezoid and capitate bones. Both heads become tendinous and insert together into the lateral side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. A sesamoid bone is located at the junction of the two tendinous heads of flexor pollicis brevis. Keep in mind that between the two heads of flexor pollicis brevis is passing the tendon of flexor pollicis longus. This tendon arrives in the palm from under the flexor retinaculum, passes between the two heads of flexor pollicis brevis, then finally inserts into the base of the distal phalanx of the thumb. The third and the last muscle of the thenar eminence is the opponens pollicis. This muscle is the deepest muscle of the group and originates from the flexor retinaculum and crest of trapezium and inserts into the lateral side of the first metacarpal bone. Even though it is not a muscle of the thenar muscles group, the adductor pollicis muscle is also responsible for controlling the fine movements of the thumb. This muscle has two heads of origin. Its oblique head arises from the anterior aspects of capitate bone and bases of second and third metacarpal bones, and inserts into the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. The transverse head of adductor pollicis arises from the anterior surface of the shaft of the third metacarpal bone and has a common insertion with the oblique head. The next group of muscles to be indicated is the hypothenar muscles group, which are responsible for fine movements of the little finger. We will indicate these muscles using the blue color. Having origin from the tendon of flexor carpi ulnaris and pisiform bone is the abductor digiti minimi. This muscle inserts into the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx of little finger. Having origin from the flexor retinaculum and hook of Hammett is the flexor digiti minimi. This muscle inserts also into the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx of little finger. The next muscle to be indicated originates also from the flexor retinaculum and hook of Hammett and inserts into the medial surface of the shaft of fifth metacarpal bone. This muscle is the opponens digiti minimi. The fourth and the last muscle of the hypothenar muscles group is the palmaris brevis. This is a thin quadrilateral muscle having origin from the flexor retinaculum and palmar aponeurosis. Its insertion is into the skin on the ulnar border of the palm of the hand. The next group of muscles of the hand are the interossei muscles. There are 7 interossei muscles. 3 of them are palmar interossei and are unipennate muscles. The first palmar interosseous muscle originates from the medial side of second metacarpal bone and inserts into the medial side of the proximal phalanx of the second finger. The second palmar interosseous muscle originates from the lateral side of the fourth metacarpal bone and inserts into the lateral side of the base of the proximal phalanx of fourth finger. The third and last palmar interosseous muscle originates from the lateral side of the fifth metacarpal bone and inserts into the lateral side of the base of the proximal phalanx of little finger. An important observation is that origins and insertions of the palmar interossei muscles are facing the midline of the hand. The other 4 interossei muscles are the dorsal interossei. These muscles are bipennate muscles. Each of them is placed in the corresponding intermetacarpal space and originates from the adjacent sides of the metacarpal bones. The first dorsal interosseous muscle inserts into the lateral side of the base of proximal phalanx of second finger. The second interosseous inserts into the lateral side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the middle finger. The third interosseous inserts into the medial side of the base of proximal phalanx of middle finger. The fourth interosseous muscle inserts into the medial side of the base of proximal phalanx of fourth finger. The last group of muscles of the hand are the lumbricals. The lumbricals are 4 in number and arise from the tendons of flexor digitorum profundus in the palmar region. As you know, we have 4 tendons of flexor digitorum profundus. Each of them inserts into the base of distal phalanges of the last 4 fingers. The first 2 lumbricals are unipennate muscles and arise from the lateral side of the first 2 tendons of flexor digitorum profundus. The third and fourth lumbricals are bipennate muscles and arise from the adjacent sides of the last 3 tendons of flexor digitorum profundus. The insertions of lumbricals muscles are into the lateral side of the dorsal digital expansion of the corresponding digit from 2nd to 5th. Regarding the innervation of the muscles of the hand, keep in mind that all of them are supplied by the median and ulnar nerves, with the latter supplying the majority of them. The median nerve supplies only the abductor pollicis brevis, opponens pollicis, superficial head of flexor pollicis brevis, and first 2 lumbricals.